Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show. Hey, what's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of RAERAEs Review, where I'm going to be talking about the Salt Lake City Housewives. Yes, season 5, episode 15. I had to make sure it was a 5, not a 9. So no, it ain't 9. They ain't been here that doggone long. Yeah, y'all, Salt Lake City, wrapping it up. These have been given every episode, if you ask me. Before we get into this review, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I appreciate you so much for tuning in. Now, we start off with my homegirl, Bronwyn, telling Lisa that she and others were, talking a little greasy, but she didn't really mention what other people were saying. She just mentioned that, what she said to Lisa, and just pretty much trying to straighten things out with how they feel about Lisa, but she really only gave her side of the story pretty much. And then after all that, they had a conversation, and then Lisa said, well, here we go with the bulls. So anyway, we can still have fun. So she texts everybody. They're going to have ATV riding, and that should be fun. Then we see Meredith visiting Heather and brings up some questions, in regards to Brittany's intentions, asking, Meredith about being sick and just, just trying to clear up some things, because she doesn't seem like, since Heather brought the girl into the group, Meredith is really trying to figure out what's going on with Brittany, because she didn't appreciate the insinuation that she may have an eating disorder. Okay. On the way to the ATVs, Lisa brings up the question to everybody, why were they talking so greasy about me? Whitney tried to explain, but Lisa shuts her down, pretty much calling her everything but child of God, because Lisa don't like Whitney. But pretty much, it wasn't that Angie was like, well, what do you mean? What was said? Girl, it don't matter what was said. Just say what you said, so we can just squash all this. I hate when Angie do that and everybody else. Well, what was said that makes you feel this way? No, Heifer, just say what you said. If that will just clear up everything up. Anyway, child. Then Brittany is caught recording them, because they're arguing back and forth about who said what and who shot John and carrying on. And they see that Brittany is recording. And then Brittany lies. Brittany's a liar, I can tell. She lying about stuff, but we're going to find out later on the biggest lie that she felt she needed to confess to. Girl, bye. Anyway. So yeah, pretty much they go off on her. It was kind of funny because I enjoyed it. I'm not even going to front. I ain't even going to hold you. I enjoy even the girl who brought her to the group, Heather, because they all are triggered by, feeling like they can't trust the next housewife or the friend of, because of reality volunteers. That's pretty much what it is. They got a little PTSD. It's not funny, but I'm just describing it like that. Neither is having PTSD, so don't get me wrong. I'm not making fun of it. It's just, child, they really have PTSD symptoms or whatever, because they all went off. And Bronwyn couldn't wait to chime in. Even Bronwyn was giddy. I mean, she wasn't like hee ha ha, but you can tell she was. Everybody went in. Meredith was in the back row. She was trying to make her way up to Brittany to tell her in her face the way she was going on. I mean, Heather went off. Bronwyn, of course, went off. Meredith went off. And Mary, no, actually, Mary started it because she was like, you recording us? Oh, no. And that just pretty much, set it. Now, Mary wasn't, yelling and screaming and going ham. Everybody else was. Mary was just sitting back. But yet, everybody, Lisa went off, Meredith, Whitney, Heather, Bronwyn. The only person that didn't go off was Brittany herself and Mary. And then once, it was time to get off the little sprinter, she got off crying. Oh, Angie went off. So she got off the sprinter, all upset and carrying on because she hyperventilated because she's never been. It was kind of harsh. Whitney was like in her confessional, even though, we all have, we were rightfully upset. It was a bit much because it don't take 8 women to be yelling at one person about one thing. You know what? That reminds me. That happened to me at work one time. I wasn't a favorite. And there were it was about 4 or 5 people. But the thing was, I was the only one who knew this type of work to do. You can take that and guess why they was upset. But anywho, yeah, they still upset. But anyway, it's a long time ago, and they still upset. But anywho, so they all wanted to chime in and talk to me all at once, not yelling and screaming, but the way that they did Brittany. And I'm like, I only need one person to talk to me about this. I don't need all y'all jumping down my throat. That's what Brittany should have did. That's how you get a heifer off for you. And they all shut up and one person spoke. And if somebody else has something different to say, please chime in. That's what I said. No one else had anything different to say. That's how you get a heifer off for you. When you at work and you can't be yelling and screaming. If you're yelling and screaming. And another thing, if I only need, that's you gotta, join in, test the temperature. But anyway, she got off the sprinter van, screaming and crying and carrying on and not hallucinating, hyperventilating. And then Whitney came to her rescue, said, offer her some, she said, I'm sorry we made you feel that way, but we went through some ish. And we ain't got time for no more ish like that. So you cannot do that. That's just something you cannot do. And then she had 3 or 4 different excuses. First, she said she wasn't recording. And of course, good old production, roll back tape, just a few minutes prior. She was recording for about 2 minutes. Like, what? And then she said she just wanted to send something to her daughter of the scenery or some scenic view. The next lie, it was like 3 or 4 lies, and everybody was like, you just said something different. Oh, and then Brown was like, oh, so now the story changing. Anywho, so she gathered herself together, and pretty much that was that. So ATV riding. To a walk, they did the ATV riding, and come to find out they couldn't ride 4 to an ATV. They had to ride 2, even though there were 4 seats. That busted Heather's bubble, so Heather had to ride with Brittany. She's like, "Dang, I gotta ride with her." Well, that's the heifer you brought to the group. You the one brought that girl, so you ride with. I'm pretty sure that's what they were saying. They didn't say it on the show, but I'm pretty much sure that's what their ass was thinking. Girl, I would have. I'm just saying. So Heather's all quiet in the ATV because Brittany's driving and everything, and they just, ain't talking. I'm like, girl, you messed up. Anyway, so Lisa is talking greasy about Brittany. They all do it. I mean, pretty much, I guess, she was, just, I guess, anyway, I don't know what the hell Lisa was talking about. Anyway, Lisa's just talking greasy about Brittany. So they all eat lunch, and Mary brings up their recording. And Brittany brings up a secret of hers, after they kind of chimed in again, and Meredith went in and pretty much questioned, I have a feeling that because it's very quiet at the villa. How could you hear me? Do you have a recording device in my room for you to hear what, how distressed I was in my room? Because I can't hear anyone in their room. I asked other people if they can hear me in their room, but you're the only one who can hear me. Considering you were recording us on the bus, do you have a recording device in my room? And she's like, oh my, Brittany got highly offended. I kind of believe her. No, she ain't got no listening device. But Brittany apologized to Meredith for everything. But Meredith wasn't letting up. She was like, you did. It wasn't if you did. It was the fact that you did insinuate that I have an eating disorder. Girl, Meredith ain't done. But everybody was giving sympathy. Whitney said she can relate to Brittany and the secret that she told. So Brittany pretty much said that her and Jared are having sex. Girl, like we didn't know that. They were like, well, we knew that. You coming around in lingerie, you drinking, you doing all these things that Mormons don't do. Why wouldn't you be having sex? Especially when you showed us that you got lingerie. Ain't no man gonna give you lingerie if you ain't wearing it in front of him. And if you wearing it in front of him, that means he's taking it off. Duh. Brittany, we didn't wake up yesterday. They didn't on this show, and neither did we. I sure enough didn't wake up today. Girl, if you don't stop. So that's when they were really giving sympathy, talking about Whitney's situation, getting thrown out the church for her cheating on her man, getting with Justin. Who else? Oh, her homegirl who brought her into the group, Heather. She started crying, talking about her situation. Who else has something? Oh, and of course, I was surprised that Bronwyn gave some empathy, considering, she was 19 and pregnant in college. So, it's all about the guilt that this ain't what me saying. This is what Heather was saying, and they were saying, pretty much agreeing. It's the guilt that they got from the Church of Latter-day Saints Mormon religion that they put heavily on mostly women, females of the congregation, because they hold them to a certain high standard. They expect them to be more morally grounded and just, withhold all of the principles that book carries and that religion tells them to. So when they go against it, it's like, oh my God, you're hurting Jesus, you're hurting God. And it is what it is. I ain't here to defend nor criminalize nothing in nobody's religion. This is what they're saying. So I can understand that. So Brittany, pretty much felt a little better. She apologized again. She really didn't mean to upset everybody. She certainly didn't want to make them feel like they can't trust her because, what they went through with Reality Von Teese 2 seasons ago. But yeah, child. Brittany, you got more problems with Meredith than anybody else. So pretty much everybody is cool with her for the most part, except for Meredith don't see it for her. Meredith ain't letting up, pretty much. That's it. That's all. So next they arrive at the shopping mall. It wasn't a whole lot, but Heather buys this gag gift. It's an apron where it says "I'm shy" on it, but underneath the apron it's like two aprons, and between the two aprons are cloth penises. And I'm like, what? And there's one that's big and black, like a BBC. Mm-hmm. And there's one that was kind of yellow, more or less the color of Heather. And Heather chose the BBC one and wanted him to strap on the apron and tie it around her waist so she can wear it. All right now. Even Angie grabbed the big black one and tried to force it playfully down Heather's throat. Yeah. It's telling, ain't it? Real telling. Next, they go back to the hotel. Meredith goes to Heather again about how did Brittany hear her when the walls are thick, and Brittany again denied planning a recording device in Meredith's room, but she's just, adamant about it. And then they, pretty much it didn't go over well. Then after dinner, Heather says Bronwyn. Now, this is them riding in the tram back to the villas. After dinner, Heather is telling Meredith, saying how Bronwyn felt like Meredith and Lisa didn't support her when Bronwyn spilled her heart out on the boat, on the yacht, when Bronwyn was saying her and Todd's relationship is what it is. And Meredith was like, well, I didn't form an opinion. I just asked her, could it be this? It wasn't like I was telling her she's doing this. And, with Lisa not really supporting Bronwyn and chiming along with Meredith, now Heather didn't tell Meredith that this part, how the whole issue of infidelity in Meredith and Lisa's marriage, with them being on, the wrong side of things, prompted them to take the stance that they did when Bronwyn was explaining her and Todd's relationship with the infidelity. But Heather didn't explain it that way. Now, Heather, during that conversation that she's retelling to Meredith, conveniently forgot to say how Heather and Whitney chimed in and said that Meredith and Lisa were the ones doing the infidelity, which is why they posed what they said to Bronwyn versus showing more of a support comment to Bronwyn. So when Meredith wanted to replay that with others listening, Heather quickly tried to, hush that up and move to a different type of conversation as Meredith was trying to investigate exactly what Heather was relaying to her. Don't you find that interesting? Mary wasn't lying when she said Heather be lying. Now that's another cold case, broken first 48 broken case that was just solved. Heather be lying, like Mia on Real Housewives of Potomac. Yeah, I said it. Then, Meredith goes off because she's getting feedback about how she's apparently her marriage was having issues and she was the cause due to her stepping out. So she said, well, if all y'all want to talk about me all greasy, like, I'm going to leave y'all be. I'm going to my room. I'm going to take a bath and leave y'all be. And she walked off mad and pretty much telling everybody that, kiss her mashed potatoes. And they're like, what is going on? So then Lisa follows up with her. She's like, what's going on? And then Lisa Meredith is in Meredith's room. And Meredith is yelling and screaming about she's tired of being the butt and the brunt of BS. And I'm sure everybody can hear me now. Then they kind of back away from the door, like they don't want to get caught at the door listening. Whitney was the main one at the door, and she was the main one who left, so she didn't want to get caught listening. Girl, bye. So that was pretty much how it ended. I guess episode 16. We're gonna hear more of Meredith screaming, crying, and carrying on. But that was it. But like I still say, ain't nobody apologized to Meredith for Reality Von Teeth when they thought it was Meredith. It was really Reality Von Teeth with all that DMing and lying and mob talk and all that. But they still ain't apologized to Meredith about that. And I believe that's also why Meredith is quick to go off and go ham, because here it is again, y'all lying about me and carrying on. She stopped saying that they never resolved what happened at the previous reunion, because we're on episode 15 now, but she was saying that at the beginning of the season. So I'm with Meredith. Y'all need to apologize and do it ASAP. If y'all don't do it at this reunion, I'm going to talk about you like a dog. Anyway, that was it, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you later. Bye. All day.